Hello and welcome to the Top Farmer Speaks, our weekly program that comes away on this platform on Zoom every Friday between 4 to 5 p.m. Please don't adjust your TV screen too much or your phone because we're broadcasting from different parts of the world. So I'm your host, as always. Manny Estienne is my name. You're very welcome to join us wherever you are around the continent, Nigeria, or the globe. We are here to talk about farm business, and it's very serious. And we hear that a lot of people are very enthusiastic about the agricultural sector in Nigeria, but they don't know where to start. They don't know where the foundation is. Where do we ask questions? How do we network? How do I go to a farmer to get insights on how to be part of this booming sector of the Nigerian economy? Well, step no further. Every week, you have a chance to interact full hand with an influencer in the farm sector, in the agricultural sector of the economy. So that's what it is. The Top Farmer is a link that seeks to bridge the gap and shine the needed spotlight on the latest developments in the agricultural sector in Nigeria. The Top Farmer is your link, all right, between the stakeholders and, in the industry and hope to highlight the vast opportunities in agriculture and focus and break down government policies, especially government policies, uncover funding potentials, investment prospects, unearth the latest research and technological advancements that the market has to offer. So if you're a farmer or you're an enthusiast, somebody who just wants to know about farm business, last year I went into so many farmlands in the Southwest and I was blown away by the numerous farm lands and potentials and all of that. Trust me, there's something there for everyone. If 20% of Nigerians were in farming, we would not have this kind of problem we have now in Nigeria. Food shortage and high prices. Well, you're welcome to the Top Farmer Speaks. It's already 4:03. And as always, we have a lovely guest who has graced this platform for the last 3 weeks. I'll be introducing you to him in a few minutes. But our topic for the week is value addition in cassava cultivation. Value addition in cassava cultivation. Cassava, we've been talking about it for a long time now, and how lucrative cassava production is, or processing. So please sit back, relax, and remember, it's very interactive. So you can reach out to me by messaging on this portal, Zoom portal. Send me a message here. I'll read your message. Or you can email. Remember, if you're very serious about going further into your farm exploits, you can email info@thetopfarmer.ng and we'll get back to you. All right. In the meantime, please sit back and enjoy this next video that we'll play for you, just to give you an idea where we're coming from. Enjoy. I'll be back in a few seconds.
Cassava is consumed in many forms in Nigeria. Apart from boiling, frying, or roasting the tubers, its processed form is enjoyed as gari, fufu, lafun, edible starch, and so on. Cassava is also used to produce industrial starch, which is used in several sectors including the food industry, pharmaceuticals, foundry, textiles, paper and adhesives. Other uses of cassava include cassava chips, which are dried cuttings of cassava tubers used in production of livestock feeds, ethanol, and other products, as well as high-quality cassava flour. Cassava's most illustrious son here in Nigeria definitely is gari. It needs no advertisement and has been saving lives, as they say, since time immemorial.
The Top Farmer.
Have you ever wished for the opportunity to fully understand the agricultural and the agribusiness sector of the economy?
This year is a great year to grow cassava, selling it for as high as 35,000 naira per ton.
You've heard about the monies that can be made from the sector, but you don't know where to start. Good morning. Welcome to the Top Farmer. This is the rural settlement somewhere in Oyo State. Welcome to Osplat and Kubod Farms, Ejare, Ogun State. Now here we are, Sabo Market, right in the heart of Oyo Town.
You can see there is lack of nutrients.
You don't have a farm and you don't have chickens. What do you have? You have the money.
Yes.
Mechanical peeler is the one spinning, right?
Exactly.
It spins the cassava and takes out some of the stuff from it. You lost 4 million naira in one day.
Recover the money again.
What is the capacity?
We have about 60,000 birds.
60,000 birds.
The Newcastle disease that is mentioned is a disease that is endemic in Nigeria.
If there's any insect, the chemical will eat the insect and the insect will die.
That's the major hazard you face.
Funny enough, if anything goes into the pond, the fishes will eat it.
Let's just stay out of the water for now. It's always exciting to watch that video clip. You know, it's one of my favorites actually. The fish pond, the fish farm in Ogun State. Amazing stuff. You would not believe it, but that farmland, that particular pond is home to about 2,000 different types of fish. It's amazing. And the profit margin, I don't want to say it right here, but the business is it's over 100 million a year. And that's just one. There's so many of them like that, in this country. And this, like I said before, there's opportunity for individuals, even if you're not a farmer, to go into different various farm produce. So once again, you're welcome to the Top Farmer. My name is Manny Essien, and it's a fantastic Friday today, the 23rd day of July, 2021. Our guest, of course, is somebody I've introduced because of his farm prowess. He is a world-famous mechanical engineering technologist. He has 25 years experience working on diverse agro-allied projects across Nigeria and Africa. He is a prominent stakeholder in agro-allied machinery and equipment fabrication in Nigeria. What that means is he doesn't only farm, he manufactures the equipment to use to farm as well. He holds an enviable positions in cassava value chain businesses in Africa, and he is a founder and the chairman of the Niji Group, comprising of 4 other subsidiaries, namely Niji Lucas Nigeria Limited, Niji Farms and Allied Services Limited, Niji Foods Nigeria Limited, Niji Institute of Sustainable Agriculture, and Ripples Hotel and Nightclub in Nigeria. Every time I say Ripples Hotel and Nightclub in Nigeria, I know you may be thinking something else. But like I said before, it's a group, it's a chain. It's a chain business. And they're operating in agricultural machinery fabrication, crops and livestock production, food processing, Center for Learning Profitable Agriculture, and tourism business sector as well. Please allow me to introduce to you, if he is out online, because he's a very busy person. You can imagine me having this person on Zoom with me every Friday. It's not easy at all. Oh, by the way, he has won several awards, including Century International Quality Era Award in Geneva, Switzerland in 2015. And please, I must remind you, he has over 30 years experience. In fact, I'm counting it is now 32 years. Every time we come here, we'll add like 2 weeks or 1 week, and we'll be counting up. So it's now 32 years experience in this business. Please, I would like to introduce you to him once again, Mr. Kolawole Adeniji. Yeah, he is on Zoom with us. Good afternoon to you, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir. So, how is everything?
We are here. We don't have a flood in my area, but we know the floods are causing problem. We don't have earthquakes, but we're grateful Nigerian lands are fertile. So we're looking forward to the future, sir. How is your business, sir?
Well, everything is fine. So today is a bit better because most of the Fridays are always rushing to where I can have access to join the program. But today I think I'm on grant. So thank you.
You're welcome, sir. You're very welcome.
Yeah. So how is everything?
We're fine. Last week was a great one. We had so much interaction with people from around the world. I don't know if our friend from America is here with us today. She was very, very inquisitive. I forgot her name, but anyway, I hope she's online. This week, we're talking about the value addition in cassava cultivation. Is that right, sir?
Yes. So value addition in cassava cultivation, that's our program for today. So I think we started, let me recap what we have done so far. So before we get to today's program, I think first week, that's start small, then grow big. That's what we did. That's the first program on this episode. So, and thank God we're in the fourth week now. So the second week, that's why we talk about cassava and its comparative advantages. So then the third week, there is on a good agronomical practice in cassava cultivation. So I think today now we are talking about value addition in cassava cultivation. So
All right, nice. And people who are joining us, remember that you can join in the program wherever you are and send in a question via the chat room on Zoom, or you can email. Remember, there's an email portal for you, info at the topfarmer.ng, topfarmer.ng. Please keep your questions short and precise and straight to the point. Thank you so very much. And this week, like you said, sir, the fourth week, it appears cassava is quite a lot, for it to span 4 weeks. I'm just saying because, and I know there's so much more. I can imagine there's so much more, sir.
Yeah, a lot, still a lot. If you have to develop this is the fourth week into different value chain, that one will take a lot. Again, you have different value chain and we have to pick it as a topic. That's a lot. But for this week, we just go on it briefly so for some people to be able to ask questions. So what to do with your cassava tubers? So normally we ask people and we advise people that if you add value to your product, you gain more, because it's like something that someone has done for over the period of 12 months. You just harvest it in the day and add value to it under 1 or 2 days and you make money. So that's why the value addition is very, very important. So you can choose to sell your cassava tuber at the farm gate price. That means immediately you harvest, you sell. Or some people will sell their own right on the farm. So for people who are buying, so get buyers to buy the tubers. So that's the farm gate. So then you can process to add the value. So that means if you process it, that means you want to add the value to it. So then under that, you have transporting to the processing center or factory. You can call the processing center or processing factories. So time between harvest and processing must, as much as possible, be under 48 hours. That's what we mean on that is that. So there are some products that when you harvest them, so you have to process your cassava between 48 hours because it will lose value if you don't harvest, if you don't process, because if you need a cassava flour between 24 and 48 hours that you need to process before your root start getting deteriorated. So that's part of it. That's why we say you need to harvest it. That's why your processing center must be very close to where you have your farm. So in most cases, you can't transport a cassava more than a certain distance before you're not going to make a good profit on it again, because logistics or transportation will take a lot of your profit. So you must also know the conversion rate. So it depends on the value chain you are doing. We have different conversion rates. And when you are processing starch, you know that when you process almost 5 tons of cassava, you get 1 ton of starch. So that's the input. We call it input and output. The input is 5 tons, output is 1 ton. When you are doing cassava, gari is ratio 1 to 4. 4 tons of tuber is 1 ton of gari. The same thing in flour. Then fufu too, you get almost ratio 1 to 5 of fufu too. So we have different rate of conversion rate. So you need to understand that. And when you harvest during the rain season and during the dry season, we call it dry matter content diverse again. So those are the things you need to understand about the cassava. Then there's what we call traceability. So you really need to know exactly the variety of cassava you are processing to ensure the starch content of which of the varieties you have. So under this, we have the traceability. Then value addition options. So cassava can be converted to a whole lot of range of products, which I've said it. You can get cassava starch, cassava flour, gari, odorless fufu or lafun, ethanol, barf oil, or animal feed. So those are the range of things you can get from. There are still other ones you can get like sweetener, like sorbitol, a lot that you can actually get from cassava. And then processing method. So we have a different processing method, but under the processing method, we have two major methods or two major stages. We have the wet section and we have the dry section. So commonly, I think a wet section is mostly common for any value addition you want to do. So you need to sort your cassava, you need to wash it, you need to peel, then you need to do the grating or crushing. So very important. If you are doing chips, maybe you have to slice, but still the same thing. Then soaking, if you want to do like fufu and some other things, you have to soak or gari for fermentation. But if you are doing starch, you go through other processes, or you are doing flour, you go through other processes. Then all of them, you have to de-wet. The wetting is very, very common. So you can see out of this, we have a common processes that actually affected all the value chain you have. And then when it comes to the dry section, you have to de-wet. The wetting is there. You have to pulverize because you want to dry. Then you have to either you fry or dry. When you are doing gari, you are frying. When you are producing something like a starch, that means you are drying. When you are doing flour, you are drying. When you are doing fufu, you are drying. So there's a major difference between drying and frying. Those are the major two differences in a dry section. Then you mill it in order to make sure that you get the powder you want. But if you starch, you don't mill it because you have hydrocyclone that might have passed through all those things, remove all the dirties and everything you want. So that one is there too. Then packaging. So packaging is another section that you need to package properly for it to preserve and to not to attract any other moisture. So advantages of processing. So we have some advantage of processing. You have added value to the product. That's number one. So because you are able to process from tuber to dry substance, that means products, you were able to add value to it. So that's number one. Then you are able to increase the shelf life of the product. That means if you dry it or fry, that means your product can stay for another almost 1 year, 2 years. That means it's still there. So you are not under pressure to sell your products. Then the packaging can be exported. So when you package it properly, you can export it. So that's another thing that when you process, those are the benefits you can get towards it. So, and you can tailor your products, your production towards the consumer need. So that's a demand driven. What the market wants or what the consumer wants, you can tailor your production to it. So then when you process, is another source of employment. So you'll be able to employ more people when you consider the number of people who are going to work in the factory. So it's a good employer of labor to that too. So your products are on display. So when you go anywhere, you can see your branded products on any of the shelf, and it's another thing that you'll be able to add value to a product, and people can see it on the shelf of any supermarket. So we have some challenges that are associated with the processing. So the initial cost of investment, because you want to process you need to acquire equipment, and they are not cheap. So that's another thing. Then traceability of the roots. So how do you want to trace where the root is coming from? When they are harvested? So how long has been on the root? What type of variety is it? So the starch content, and so those are the things that are associated with when you are processing. Then processing efficiency to remove all the trace of cyanide. We have some cyanide content in our gari, or in our cassava. So the more you process it, that means you reduce, or almost you might have eliminated all the cyanide content. It depends on the stages of processing that you are doing. So the skill and committed level. So people are not too skilled. So for you to get the committed staff, so those are the things that will be able to ensure that your product is hygienically produced. So that's another thing. The energy requirements, you have to buy generator, or you have to do all those things. So those are part of the challenges that you need to work on. Then logistic for transportation of the roots is very important. Transporting of the roots is very, very tedious because roads are not good. We don't have good vehicles, and once your processing is too far from the farm, those are the things that increase the cost of what you are eating. Then meeting regulatory bodies, you have to have NAFDAC, you have to have SON, you have to have different people before you can add value, or you can put it on the market, or you can actually put your label on it. So those are the things that is very, very challenging when you are doing the processing. So fixing competitive price. So you process, and some people who don't even cost the value of what they do, like the market woman. So all those people are there. So it's very, very important to know that. So those are the little challenges that can actually affect you during the processing. But to add value to your product is very, very important and very good, because you make more money. So thank you.
Wow, this is very interesting. So please remember, you can ask your questions. Send them to info@thetopfarmer.ng if you have a question for our guest today, or go to the chat section and send your. I have a question. No, am I allowed to ask a question?
Yes, you are allowed. It's allowed.
Okay, I have a question, because I remember when you started, you were talking about how to make profits. You can either sell your cassava at the farm gate, or you can process it to add more value to it. So for somebody who is not really into farming, but is able to farm cassava, harvest it, they can just sell it as its raw product and go back. I mean, it's
yes.
How fast is it for you to sell the raw cassava straight from harvest? How fast?
That sometimes we have cassava gluts. Sometimes like people are looking for cassava everywhere now, because a lot of people are using cassava products apart from the normal consumption for industrial use and love. So cassava is profitable now. There's no any other cassava you harvest that don't get market for. People are looking for cassava, and it's good price. So it's profitable if you can sell from the farm gates. We call the farm gate is you harvest and sell on the farm. So you harvest and put it inside the truck and go to factory and sell at the farm gate. So the factory gate, we have farm gate, we have factory gate. Farm gate price is different from factory gate price. So that's what the two are profitable.
Okay, I'm thinking about going into it myself. I already have who I will sell to.
Yes.
Okay, these are the questions we have for you, sir, today. Let's look at the questions. This question comes in. It says, good afternoon, sir. I understand that cassava leaves are also useful. Please, what can cassava leaves be used for?
Yeah, cassava leaf is very useful. The protein content inside cassava leaf is around 25 to 35%. Depends on what. So it's good for, it's a good vegetables that you can consume. It's very rich in protein. Then another thing is that people doing animal feed can actually use to fortify their feed too. So is to enrich the protein content in it. So it's very good. People look for it. Other African countries eat a lot of cassava leaves. So that's why they even exportable this thing is very high. So you can export it to any other country. So we have frozen vegetable leaves that you might have packed and put it inside the frozen this thing and froze it. So it's very lucrative too. So it's only in Nigeria that we don't eat the cassava leaves. Other countries, they eat a lot of cassava leaves. So thank you.
Okay, that's a good one. Thank you very much. Here's a question for you, sir. What is the least budget one should have when going into starch production in Nigeria? What is the least budget?
Starch production is capital intensive, and we have different markets. We have edible starch, we have industrial starch, we have the local starch. So if you're thinking of going to serious business, so the investment is high. I won't be able to break it down, but it's going to almost like you'll be thinking of any amount above $1 million. So that's just it. But
again, sorry, sir, I didn't get you. One what?
I say the investment on cassava starch is over $1 million.
$1 million.
Yes. So, but and payback on investment is easy. Under maybe 1 or 2 years or 3 years, you get your money back. So, and you start back. So, it's very lucrative because must be very, very the quality must be very, very high because a lot of companies like Nestle and some other people uses it for food, and some of the drug industry uses it for I think a binder. So you have to set up a very, very high standard hygienic this thing in order for you to be able to produce. So that's why it's very high. But if you are looking at all the normal local starch and everything, you can do that one with little money. But I think you will not be able to do a projection on the cost. So that's it.
Wow, nearly 500 million naira. Wow. Okay, we will do that in the future. Don't worry, we will get there. Yeah, hopefully that's answered your question. Here's another question for you, sir. This one says, as an entrepreneur, which value chain is the most profitable with minimal risk of losing investment? I don't know if you can answer that question. Which value chain is the most lucrative, most profitable with minimal risk?
Starch is profitable, but you have a market, and flour is profitable, you have a market. Gari is good, but you are competing with a lot of people in the Gari market. So you get so for people to be able to identify your own Gari from thousands of Gari around, so it's difficult. But for starch, we have a limited number of people that are involved in starch. It's capital intensive, but at least the return on investment is good, and there's no risk because they will satisfy, and there's some other tests you have to pass, like HACCP, that they have to certify that everything is okay. Then you can be supplying for another 5 years, so they'll buy all your products. So there's no any intermittent operations when it comes to starch or flour, because you might have signed an uptake with the buyers. So you are not limited. The only thing that can give you a headache is your raw material, which you might have equally secured before you go into such a business.
Well, very interesting. So we are back to cassava starch. It's good. Here's a question for you, sir. This one says, what strategy can Nigeria adopt to expand the scope and scale of production and produce at lower costs per unit in order to become a global powerhouse? What can Nigeria do to adopt and expand the scope and scale of production?
Yeah, it's very easy. In the past, people are deceiving us as poor rural farmer that you have to have 1 acre, 2 acres farm. No, it can't sustain us any longer. So you have to mechanize the farm. So you have to have equipment to do a proper farm mechanization, whereby the planting should be done by machine. We develop the machine that can plant mechanically. We develop the machine that can harvest. We develop a lot of machines that do the spraying. All the jobs can be mechanized. That's the only reason whereby we should be able to produce at a reduced rate. Remove on the necessary overhead on it, then produce cassava. The cassava they are selling for 50, 30,000 naira. If we mechanize it, we can produce it for almost 10,000 naira per ton. So in that case, we can export to any country of our choice because we are able to mechanize it and we can compete with any of the international price in the market. So that's another thing is that when you add value to it, because of the source of power, energy, so but you can still spread your cost on the generator. If your raw material cost is not too outrageous, then you compete to export to any market. People like us, we export to different markets that our choice because we operate on the value chain. So we're able to reduce cost on this, increase on this. So that's why we're still in business. So if you mechanize your cassava farm and you are taking of almost 500, 1,000 hectares of farm, minimum of 50 hectares, then you make good profits. So that's it. Mechanization is the key.
Mechanization is the key. Well,
Yes.
Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, we are still here. This is the Top Farmer Speaks every week, 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. with me, Manny, and my guests. And for today, it's the world famous, renowned international investor, farmer, Mr. Kolawole Adeniji. So please, you can ask your questions by either messaging on the chat room there or send your message across. Somebody's waving a hand. Lizzie Igbine, is that your name? Lizzie
Yes,
is raising her hand.
Thank you
Okay,
very
please.
much.
Thank you for joining us.
I hope a lady is here, or am I alone?
Of course, we have ladies. Go ahead, ask your question.
You are not alone, no. We are here.
Okay,
we have more. So let's take it.
I'm home. Okay.
Sorry, please.
So my name is Lizzie Igbine from Nigerian Women Agro-Allied Farmers Association. I am here because I'm a farmer and I'm a cassava farmer, but I'm hearing that unless I do 50 hectares, but I can do up to 20 or more. So can I get the buyer so that I will sell next year, 2022?
Okay. So if you do 50
Please,
or 20
who has a buyer?
hectares, if you do 20 hectares, it's still a good deal. So which is very, very good as a lady, but you need to do it in an agrarian environment whereby you can share some other services. You can share some other services. That's why I can hear that Madam Cassava is even on the line, Mrs. Adetunji. So I can hear her voice that.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon, Madam Cassava.
I have not finished. Where is the buyer?
I can hear your voice. So welcome.
Okay, please, can I have your attention, please? Can I have your attention, please? Thank you, everyone, for joining. Can we please remember that it is a wave hand session, so you have to wave your hand, and please be patient and wait for your turn so that we don't sound like a market. We appreciate you so much, and we are very privileged to have Kola Adeniji in the house. So once again, I hope that answers your question. The first caller, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here.
Where is the location of your farm?
My farm is in
Mr. Benga, please. Mr. Benga, please.
Nasarawa is Madam Lizzie. Yes. We can do we can do up to 30, 40 hectares in 2 locations. So who is the buyer? And we can make it up to 50 if the buyer is yes. So Madam, as we are harvesting our maize, we plant
if you're farming from Nasarawa, the only thing you can do for you is to look for a company around Nasarawa that can get it. Or another thing you can do is if you set up a farm gate processing, there's what we call a farm gate processing centers. Just you pre-process it, so you're able to move it to the next location, because if you are farming around Nasarawa and there's no factory around Nasarawa to buy, because of the logistics and everything will be high. We have some factory in Kogi that they buy, but moving things from Nasarawa to Kogi, we have to look at the distance. So that's the only thing. But I know that the people from Kogi, they go even up to different parts of the country because their factory is big in order to source for cassava tuber. We have a lot of factory in Southwest here that we engage and we use a lot of tubers because we have some different processing facilities. But the only thing is that just add value to it. If we need an equipment that you need to add value to it, we can get it from you. That was not a problem. We can help you do all the analysis so that you'll be able to produce. You know, cassava is one of the crops that you can grow without irrigation, and you can play around with it. You can never go back. You can never go wrong. So that's it.
All right. So, madam, remember, please, you can send an email right now to info@thetopfarmer.ng. Okay? Please send. Are you still there?
Yes, I'm here. Yes, I will do.
Okay. Please, do you have that email with you?
Yes, I'll send it.
Right. Please, you can send your email and put attention, Mr. Kola Adeniji. Okay?
Okay. It disappeared. Can you put it on the chat box? The email.
Okay. Info@thetopfarmer.ng. Info. You will see it again as the show goes on. Info@thetopfarmer.ng. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Don't worry. You will see it in the chat section. Just go to the chat section on the Zoom page. Thank you. Our next speaker. Our next guest is Benga Oladokun. Hello, Benga. Hello, Benga. How are you?
Hello, sir. Good to be here.
Nice one. Okay,
Can
so you have
me?
your question. Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear. You have a question for our speaker?
Yes, I have a question for Mr. Adeniji. How are you, sir?
I'm fine, sir.
We'll pray that one day we'll also get it right like you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
I'm also a farmer. The name of my farm is Grace Plus. It's located around after E4 area. But my question is, I know you're really doing well in cassava and some other good things. I want to find out, can I really make anything serious with 10 acres?
You can make something serious with 10 acres because if you're not mechanizing it, as in 10 acres is good for you, but it depends on your location is around E4. Okay, that's another good area. The local people will buy from you. The local people will buy from you because it's not enough for an industry to say they want to buy from you. But you can do something with 10 acres. I think it's good because the location is not too far from where you live. The reason why I say you can't make a good thing when the acres are small is that if you have to travel maybe 100 kilometers or 200 kilometers because you are going to farm, and you have to go maybe 3 or 4 times in a. So when you calculate the cost of running the cost and everything, it's not going to come out. But if your farm of 10 acres is not too far from where you stay, that maybe you just take maybe like some distance to the place where it's still sustainable. So thank you. Yes.
Okay, sir. Yes. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Benga Oladokun. Nice to have you on the show today. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
All right. So moving on. Please remember to silence your page so we don't have congestion of voices. Moving on to the next person who has sir. Now today now for you, sir. So the questions are coming very fast. Okay, we have Bamidele. Bamidele, are you there?
Yes, I am here. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Hi, how are you?
We're fine.
Can you hear me? Good afternoon.
We can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, great. I just have a simple question. Mr. Adeniji, good afternoon, sir. How are you, sir? This is Dele Ali.
Okay, my brother.
How are you, sir? I heard you say something about the farm gate factories.
Yes.
That there are some where you can add a little value to your cassava, and
Yes.
that can be taken by bigger factories. Can you please
Yes,
elaborate a little on that? What kind of value can you add that will be of commercial value to a farmer? Thank you, sir.
Okay, so the farm gate processing, you know, if we have the farm gate cassava, we have the factory gate. So, but we now have the farm gate processing. So the farm gate processing, so you're able to do a processing that won't cost you too much money, depends on the optical you are selling to. So you can peel, because you have some cheap labor on the farm, you can peel, you can grate, and you can press to cake. So to send to the company, they want to do flour, or you can peel, you grate, you ferment, you press to sell the company who want to process gari. So we are just coming on developing another strategy that was trying to separate wet from dry, that you can even have a mobile processing unit on the farm. It's not done mobile like that, but you can have a peeling machine, but that one is capital intensive. You don't have enough labor on the farm. Peel, grate, press to cake, and then use the vehicle to move it to the processor, which is very, very easier to do if you get it right. Because supposing you want to process gari, you have to move 5 tons or 4 tons of cassava, maybe to cover maybe 100 kilometer distance, and then you only get just 1 ton. But in this case, when you do farm gate processing, you must have actually remove all the waste, all the pieces that are not useful. You remove all the water that are not useful. So that means you have almost 50% of the load that is supposed to spend money on, that you already save money on that. So instead of you to load maybe 10 tons of waste, you handle 10 tons of semi-processed. So that's why we say for now, farm gate processing is more important in order for us to make more profits on the processing. And we now also, we can have 10 people who are working on farm gate processing and send to just one factory. So the factory now can now produce 24 hours operations to process, because of the cyanide and some other water from cassava, you cannot really situate your factory inside the town because of the water, it smells. But if you remove all those water from the farm, it's only the cake that you are sending to the city. That means I can set up my cassava processing in the city, and I can actually dry and mill, and very close to where the market is. So that's another thing. I think you understand.
I do, sir. Thank you very, very much. I definitely will be getting in touch to gain more knowledge. Thank you, Mr. ACN, for the opportunity.
Thank you for joining us. Great to have you here anytime. All right, we have a few more questions here. Please just indicate by raising your hand, and we will, of course, connect you live. Okay, let's see what we have. We have a few questions here now. Please remember, you can also email your questions in case you can't reach out to us here. Let me see what we have here. I'm overwhelmed, sir. Too many questions. This one is from no name. It says, okay, from LN Horn. Greetings from Namibia. I have been following Top Farmer, and it is very interesting. I am interested in cassava production, but we do not have it this side. How can I get it from Nigeria to Namibia? I don't know if you can answer that question, sir.
We are working with different countries on cassava processing and cassava cultivations. So if you don't have it in Namibia, then you can buy the cottons from there. Only what we need to do is you have to spend money to send it by air. So because we have to do all the normal necessary tests from the different agencies that will be able to do. From, I think, Guinea-Conakry, they still make some requests for almost over 30, I think it's almost 30,000 tons of cassava stems that they want to plant. So, but when you consider the cost of the freighting, because you can only freight cassava stem because of the short time. If you say you want to ship it, it's going to be a lot of problem, because if you dry before inside the container before you get to the to Namibia. But you can start with just some small stems. So you do what we call stem multiplications. So you go with some samples of stems for the first 6 months. You multiply the stem and you will grow it. Under 2 years, you're going to have a lot of cassava. So you can start with stem multiplication. So that's what we can do. We can help you with your stems if you want to go in Namibia. So thank you.
Very interesting. And now I'm hearing about Namibia. Let us go around Africa. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Any more questions, please? You can just indicate by sending us a message, and we'll read it right here. We have about 10 more minutes before we begin to say goodbye for another timeout. Here's a question for you, sir. This one just came in. This one says, in some developed countries, people pay to add value to their products using another person's facilities. Do we have such facilities in Nigeria where I can pay to add value to my product?
The question now is no, that I know for now. But normally it's supposed to come out from the local government. That's what the local government is supposed to be doing, like an incubation centers, so whereby they set up all those things. People can go to different local government area, book for the time, and you add value to it. So I don't think we don't have. So the best thing you can do is just to sell your raw cassava to people that will add value to it. So I don't know of anyone for now. I don't know.
Well, that's quite unfortunate. I guess that's something to think about for the future. We have Oyetunde Solaja as well. Okay, how do you hear us? Hello.
Yes, I can hear you. Hello.
All right, you're welcome to the show. Go ahead with your question.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mr. Deniji.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
This is Tunde Sholaja.
Okay, welcome from Kogi.
I don't know if I can hear me right. Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
Yes, I think the first thing is that we can actually offtake from Crest Agro. We can offtake from Nasarawa State. I think the most interesting thing I'm hearing this afternoon, which is very important, is how can farmers improve their profitability by adding value to the cassava. Trying to separate the wet and the dry session, which means the farmer can actually add some values. They can peel, grate, press, and supply cakes to factory. That will make it possible for you to transport your cake over a longer distance. For example, with cake production, you can actually preserve your cassava longer than the so-called 48 hours. And that will make it easier for you to drop cost of production. Because the biggest problem is actually cost of transporting from somewhere like Ifo all the way to Kogi State. Will take about 12,000 per ton. But if you can press and make cake, you will probably be transporting 3 times the volume you will have transported at the same price. Because the biggest volume in cassava is actually the water, which you really don't need. So if there's anybody that has a farm and want to add value and feel like they can produce cake and supply any of the factories, most of the factories will be happy to collect it. Because then it also helps us reduce our own cost of production at our end also.
So, Mr. Tunde, thank you. I think I mentioned about Kogi. That's the man I'm talking about. That's the MD of the factory. I think they have a capacity of over 300 tons of cassava a day, per day. So maybe Madam send a mail to Top Farmer, so we'll be able to link you with Mr. Tunde Solaja and some of the people who really want to sell their cassava. You know, I mentioned.
Wait, sorry, sir, please. What is happening now is a valid transaction that's happening here now. So let us, please, people don't know what is happening. Please repeat what you just said now, please.
That's good. That's what we pray for. You know, I said it the other time that before you plant, you have to talk to the uptaker. So the uptaker will agree with you or buy. So at any point of time, you won't have any gluts in the market. And you can sell your cassava as it's when due. So thank you.
Please send an email, info@thetopfarmer.ng, so we can have more conversations like this and look for more solutions. Well done, guys. We're 5 minutes away from the end. I have Donald Uwa. Donald, can you hear me? Hello, Donald. Donald Uwa.
Yes.
Are you still there,
yes,
Donald?
Yes, I can hear you. Are you
All right,
hearing
Donald.
me?
We
Yeah,
can hear
you're
you.
welcome.
We can hear you.
Okay. All right. I'm just coming here for the first time. And in fact, what I heard is very interesting. And I know with time it's going somewhere. And in fact, I'm to greet you guys and to greet all of you that are here, that you should do things better for all of us to eat. Yes, that's what I want to say. Just for me to be here and to see you talking about Cassava, it's a good thing, because Cassava is where I am coming from. We admire Cassava so much and we into it, but we do not produce it at a large extent. We produce small, just for families. Where I am now, I'm interested to go into this and be rewarded. So thank you for.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
All right, we can't take any more for now. Thank you for everyone who tuned in today. Also, please, sir, maybe in just 1 minute, we can just, before we forget what happened today.
There's one Mrs. Tony. There's one Mrs. Tony Adetunji.
Oh, Mrs. Tony. Oh, please, you're welcome. Hello, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you. 1 minute. I just want to congratulate everybody here, particularly Engineer Kola Adeniji, who has been exemplary and a role model in the agricultural industry. All over the world, not only in Nigeria, is exemplary all over the world. People come from different corners of the world to see what he's doing. And I want to greet Mr. Manuel Essien for anchoring this program. I will be joining this program as many times as you keep it ongoing. But one thing is, I just want to encourage all of us who are interested in the cassava industry. Most of the time we look at what the government will want to offer us, rather than look at ourselves as the private sector, who are the drivers of the economy of this nation. So when we come together like this, we'll be able to share ideas, we'll be able to see what we can benefit, we'll be able to look at, for instance, the issue of the primary processing is something that we have practicalized in Liberia, and is really working. While we have industry, major processors like Adeniji, we also have primary processors around him who will produce the cassava cake and take it to the major mills where we have the flash dryer. These are the things we can do at private sector level, and we move the nation forward. Thank you.
Thank you, ma. That's Madam Cassava talking. He has led people from Liberia to my farm in many times of different things. That's Madam Cassava.
Well done. Thank you. Well, thank you for coming along. I'm online. Okay, sir, I don't know if you can summarize, just 1 minute. Our focus for today, let's not forget what we focused on. We focused on adding value.
Yeah, just 1 minute. Normally, we tell people to add value to their products. So when you add value to the product, you are not taking up the gluts again in the market. So when you do pre-processing or farm grade processing, primary processing, so that's another level we are going now. That apart from you selling your raw material, per capita income will also increase, because you're able to add value to it in a way that it won't take you money. It's only the dry section that consumes a lot of money. The wet section, there's a way we do it that you won't even spend more money. And there's a way you cluster yourself to the industry that the industry can buy some of the equipment you need to pre-process for you, because they want to uptake from you. So I think we have a lot of different angles in order to work on these things. As a private sector, I think I believe in it, because our government did not really see reason why they need to support agriculture. They only pay lip service to it. I'm sorry to say that. So I think we should not rely on our effort on making sure that we get it to the next level. So thank you.
Okay. So I believe, sir, next week we will have 1 or 2 feedbacks from our emails we've been giving out for quite 4 weeks now. And remember to send in your email info@thetopfarmer.ng. Only serious matters, please, so that we can bring it to the fore here and have a conversation next Friday on the Top Farmer Speaks. We will love to have you again, sir. Hopefully next week, Friday.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Bye.
Bye.
All right, guys. So please don't go away, everybody. Yeah, thank you to everyone. Let me just quickly acknowledge everyone who's been here. The number is growing. Aziz, thank you. Benga Oladokun, thank you to Donald Olayinka Sajro. Thank you to Ebenezer, Sharifat, Lizzie, Amos. Thank you to Isaiah, Kazim, Chriswell. Thank you to Bamidele Alimi. Thank you to Angela, David, Folashade. Thank you to everyone. Kayo Dave, Folaji, Oyetunde Solaja, Toyin Adetunji, Omoni Wura. Thank you, everyone. Janet Adeyabi. I may not be able to go through all your names. The number is growing every day, but we appreciate you. Please make it the date next Friday between 4 to 5 p.m. Enjoy the next video that's playing now. It's a summary of what we are doing here on the Top Farmer Speaks. My name is Manny Essien. I'll see you again same time next week. Bye for now.
Cassava is consumed in many forms in Nigeria. Apart from boiling, frying, or roasting the tubers, its processed form is enjoyed as gari, fufu, lafun, edible starch, and so on. Cassava is also used to produce industrial starch, which is used in several sectors including the food industry, pharmaceuticals, foundry, textiles, paper and adhesives. Other uses of cassava include cassava chips, which are dried cuttings of cassava tubers used in production of livestock feeds, ethanol, and other products, as well as high-quality cassava flour. Cassava's most illustrious son here in Nigeria definitely is Gary. It needs no advertisement and has been saving lives, as they say, since time immemorial.
The Top Farmer.
Have you ever wished for the opportunity to fully understand the agricultural and the agribusiness sector of the economy?
This year is a great year to grow cassava, selling it for as high as 35,000 naira per ton.
You've heard about the monies that can be made from the sector, but you don't know where to start. Good morning. Welcome to the Top Farmer. This is the rural settlement somewhere in Oyo State. Welcome to Oslat and Kubot Farms, Ijare, Ogun State. Now here we are, Sabo Market, right in the heart of Oyo Town.
You can see there is lack of nutrients.
You don't have a farm and you don't have chickens. What do you have? You have the money.
Yes.
Mechanical peeler is the one spinning, right?
Exactly.
It spins the cassava and takes out some of the stuff from it. You lost 4 million naira in one day.
Recover the money again.
What is the capacity?
We have about 60,000 birds.
60,000 birds.
The Newcastle disease that is mentioned is a disease that is endemic in Nigeria.
If there's any insect, the chemical will eat the insect and the insect will die.
That's the major hazard you face.
Funny enough, if anything goes into the pond, the fishes will eat it.
Let's just stay out of the water for now.